Could the United States soon be leaving NATO? According to President Trump, he's seriously considering it. Trump has once again blasted the military alliance after it failed to get behind Washington's operation in Iran, branding the defense pact a paper tiger. As international conflicts continue to rage on across the globe, what would actually happen if the United States left NATO? Here's what to know. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which includes European countries, the United States, and Canada, was formed in 1949 with the aim of countering the risk of Soviet attack, and has been a cornerstone of the West's security ever since. The alliance is first and foremost defensive in nature, acting as a deterrent against attacks on member nations through collective defense. It can be best summed up in Article 5 of its treaty. An attack on one member is considered an attack on all. While alliance members have argued the U.S. offensive in Iran falls outside their commitments in the treaty, Trump has repeatedly blasted NATO over the issue, accusing members of doing absolutely nothing to support the U.S. campaign, including the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz.
I'm so disappointed in NATO because this was a test for NATO. This was a test. You can help us, you don't have to, but if you don't if you don't do that, we're going to remember.
Trump has repeatedly signaled out the UK for refusing to join the operation and initially blocking Washington from using UK bases. Spain also publicly announced that it had fully closed its airspace to US planes involved in attacks on Iran. In an interview with Reuters on April 1st, Trump said he was absolutely considering pulling out of NATO, even revealing he would be voicing his disgust with the alliance in an address to the nation later that night. The United States is widely considered to have the strongest military powers in the world. If the US left NATO, it would be a significant blow to the remaining allies' image of deterrence. Without any US obligation to intervene in an attack, NATO countries may be forced to spend significantly more on defense budgets, as adversaries like Russia may be emboldened to test Europe's defenses and any remaining commitments from allies. And without the United States' nuclear umbrella, NATO's nuclear capabilities would be dwarfed by Russia, with France and the UK together holding only a fraction of America's arsenal. Overall, a US withdrawal from Europe would be as destabilizing for the EU as a nuclear attack by Russia, according to experts surveyed by the European Institute for Security Studies. For the US, it operates out of dozens of bases spread across NATO countries that enable its military to deploy in and near Europe. If the US was no longer granted access to these bases, it would inhibit its ability to project its power around the globe. Moreover, NATO allies together purchase a significant amount of US weapons. If the United States cuts ties with Europe, its countries could turn to each other for their arms, with countries like Germany, France, as well as Asian allies all ramping up arms production. The president has repeatedly called for NATO countries to pay their, quote, fair share in the burden of Europe's defense. Whether or not Trump's recent threats of abandonment are a tactic to pressure Europe to do so is unclear. What is clear, however, is that the consequences of such an action would be dramatic.